What impact can the manner of that victory over Leicester have for the rest of the season?
Well, for us it was, of course, as we said before the game, a must-win game that you won just in the final second of the game. So of course it was a big joy and a big relief as well, especially because we were 1-0 down, and you see that Leicester has only lost 3 games and twice against us. So I believe that we have done our job.
Of course, it's Hull tomorrow. I guess that's a fixture that evokes some pretty strong memories for you.
Yes, because we play them every year at the moment in the FA Cup, and we played them in a final, and so we know them well, and they are in a strong position in the Championship, but we know that the level in the Championship has gone up tremendously, and today we saw it against Burnley. You need top level performance to beat these teams.
And just finally from me, on your team news, what sort of side can we expect to see tomorrow afternoon?
Strong side, normal side.
Arsene, can I just check first of all the injury situation with Gabriel Koscielny, for example?
Koscielny will be available. He has a test today, but I think test will be positive. Gabriel is still out.
How long do you think he might be out for, if you know at this stage?
Honestly, I believe 1 more week. He started yesterday running, but I think he has 1 more week.
I've asked you this a few times, so bear with me. Jack Wilshere, the latest on him and your assessment of when he returns?
I think 3-4 weeks.
Danny Welbeck, terrific to see him come off the bench and score the winner for you. Might he get a bigger role? I'm not asking you to name your starting lineup, but might he get a bigger role tomorrow in the Cup?
Yes, I might start him. I haven't decided yet completely, but it crosses my mind to start him tomorrow, yes.
Would you almost rather that you were playing another Premier League game this weekend after such an important win last weekend to keep the momentum going? Would you rather?
Yes. Honestly, yes, but the fixtures are the fixtures, you know, and we cope with that. We are as well very happy to play an FA Cup game, and overall what is in our mind is just the next game. I think we have created a momentum that you want to keep alive no matter what kind of competition you're in, and just win the next game and take care of that momentum. Is
this, if you like, the most exciting and challenging spell of the season, in that you've just beaten the Premier League leaders, you've got to defend your FA Cup tomorrow, and then of course you've got Barcelona in the Champions League? It's a very exciting moment, and as well a very important one, and it's a real test for the squad and for our potential as well, and to see how far we can go this season. I think I'm very confident, but of course what matters is to respond on the day of a game with a top level performance. Well, 1 defeat in your last 10 in all competitions. If you could replicate that over the next 10, would be happy. In decent shape, wouldn't you? Well, but in the Premier League, I would say you need points, you know, and the win is important. It's not losing that is important. And FA Cup and Champions League, it's similar. So you want not only not to lose, you want to win. You said you'll put a strong side out, but are you going to be tempted to rest someone like Petr Cech ahead of the Barcelona game? Petr Cech, it's possible, yes, because Ospina plays in the FA Cup, and he will not be involved tomorrow. Okay. I wonder what your view is on potentially scrapping FA Cup replays to ease fixture congestion, if you like, for the bigger clubs in the future. I'm now vaccinated by the FA rules, you know, after such a long time. So I have become very conservatively English, and I'm quite a bit nervous about changing the rules because I like them now, and I believe as well it looks like we get always more money and we want to play less games. That's a little bit contradiction, you know. Next season you have even more money coming in. That means in every single club we'll have 25 top level players, and I'm convinced that all the clubs can compete with the number of games you have to play, and
there's no real need for me to change the rules. This is the most traditional competition in England. Let's respect it and keep it as it is.
One last one for me. I mean, we've spoken about this before, but the FA and the Premier League be meeting to discuss a potential winter break. I just wonder your thought. I know you love the Christmas period, but
yes,
winter break generally, where do you stand on that?
I'm nothing against it, but then again, you need to find dates. If it is to shorten the break in the summer, I'm against it. You know, because we face now more and more summer periods where we cannot prepare our teams because the preparation is too short. And let's not forget that the European Championship has gone to 24 teams, and even the European Championship now is 1 month. Finishes the 10th of July. You start the Championship on beginning of August, so if it is to shorten that on top of that, I'm against it. If we can find a little break in winter after Christmas, I'm happy.
It's your 100th FA Cup game tomorrow. What does the competition mean to you? You've spoken a little bit about its significance.
Look, I believe the first game on television I saw was FA Cup game in France, because we had no television, and we had to go to school where we had a black and white screen, and we could watch the FA Cup final. So at that time I never imagined that I will play 100 FA Cup games, and it's a privilege because 100 is quite a big number, and we have done well as well, always in the FA Cup most of the time, so I will want to defend my record tomorrow.
What's the possibility of Elneny starting against Hull, and how has he settled in?
Look, you have asked me already for 2-3, so finally I'll give you the team.
We're getting there.
Elneny has a good chance to play tomorrow, because he's ready now. He's worked very hard, and it's a good test for me to see him as well, and I think he's fighting now for a regular place in the team, and I consider him ready like anybody else. He will have a good chance to play tomorrow.
Hull are doing well, as you've mentioned. They don't tend to concede a lot, do they, of late? Their defence has been very strong.
Yes, because they play together for a long time. And let's not forget, if you go through the team of Hull, they all played in the Premier League. They're only Premier League players, even on the bench. So I consider them as a Premier League team.
Arsene, what's your view on a possible bonus for teams in the Premier League that finish in a qualification position for the Europa League, in order to keep the coefficient points strong for England, which would obviously then have a benefit for teams getting into the Champions League as well?
Look, we had that chat many times at meetings in Geneva when we had the European managers meeting. I think the best incentive is that you can qualify for the Champions League, what we decided and demanded and got. So I don't see why we need on top of that special bonuses for teams who are already very rich. You know, I think it's an opportunity for us to do well in Europe, and all the teams who fight, all the English teams who play in the Europa League, I'm sure want to win it, because you qualify directly for the Champions League as well, and you win a trophy. I don't think you need a special bonus on top of that.
Arsene, Danny Welbeck has come back and scored last weekend. What do you think you learnt about him in terms of his mental resilience, in how he's been able to cope with such a long-term injury?
I believe it's always a good observation of a character and the resilience of a person when he's injured for such a long time, and you look, how does he resist to that stress not to be capable to play? How much can he respond with the effort he puts in his rehab, and how focused can he be every day when you go slowly, step by step? And as well, in Danny's case, he had a few setbacks when he thought he would come back, because let's not forget he got injured in April, but we prepared him for the FA Cup final, and he had a setback, a huge setback, and I think he has become a stronger man with what happened to him.
And how much do you think there's left in the tank? How much better do you think he can get?
A lot better, because he's the right age for a player. He's 25 years old. He has now already experience. Physically, he's back completely to his best. So I believe the best is to come for him.
And usually you would say, you know, I'm not going to focus on the next game and just focusing on this one that's coming up. But with Barcelona being on Tuesday, is there part of you that's got attention to that?
Not really, no. I consider more that the FA Cup is for me an opportunity as well to play, to see some players, you know, who have not played recently, like we spoke about Elneny. It has been decided before that Ospina will play, so it's just a coincidence, but for me it's a very important game. The best way to prepare Barcelona is to beat Hull tomorrow. If we don't do that, we put ourselves in a very bad position to prepare Barcelona, you know. As I told you, the momentum is important, and we have to show that mentally we are capable to win and to focus on every single game.
And you mentioned about Hull when you were drawn against them, that it was familiar territory. Was the part of you that, were you rolling your eyes at that, or were you smiling? Smiling,
because it's as well Steve Bruce, and Steve Bruce, let's not forget, we had already the replay with Sheffield United. He was manager at the time, so we played a few times against each other now.
Arsene, Matty Debuchy has been speaking this week, in which he said that you personally blocked a loan move for him to go to Manchester United. Is that true?
I hope that's not surprising to you. If Man United wants to buy a player, but you loan players out to clubs who have not the resources, but not to direct opponents. Was nothing shocking in that, and it's true. I stand up for that. Yes.
Were you surprised they even tried it?
I was surprised, yes, by the move, but look, can understand it, but I found that logical.
Just looking at Hull, obviously you beat them in the final 2 years ago, and it was only after that game that the club confirmed that you were signing a new contract here. I just wondered, if you lost that final,
I don't know.
Might you have gone?
I don't know, honestly, I don't know.
Well, but was it up in the air in your mind at that time about whether you would stay or not?
What was up in the air was to give everything to win the final, and after to reflect on it if we had lost it. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, because usually I respect my contracts and I fight for everything. And I think as well to say to you that 17 years in a club depend just on one cup final. So it's better you don't go to the final then, you know. So you don't have that problem. But it would have been a problem. Would we not have won? Yes, because it would have been a massive disappointment for everybody. But we won.
It did feel like a really big turning point, that final, for you personally and for the club.
Yes, of course, because people want. Today in a modern job, you have always to explain on what you do not achieve. You know, what you achieve is always known, but you have always to explain why you do not this, why you do not that, why did you not win this. Yes, of course, would have been a problem.
Thank you very much.
What was that game, that first game, by the way, in the FA Cup? Can you remember?
I don't remember. I was too young. You know. It's funny because I did an interview yesterday with some people from the FA, and they asked me about the history of English game. And the players I remember, the first three players I remember are the 1966 players. Bobby Charlton, Bob Moore, these Styles, all these players, you know, who played. Before that, I saw 9 years old, 10 years old, some FA Cup finals, but I don't even remember what teams it was.
Might have been Tottenham.
Might have been.
Thank you very much.
I'm not sure about that.